Hello everybody, Abby here, and I thought I'd tell you about the 3 reading challenges that I am doing in 2015. The first is reading the entire Bible, and I'm doing that with the daily Bible in chronological order, 365 daily readings. So far I am 3 for 3! Yay! The second challenge is more of an experiment. I'm going to be reading 6 pairs of books, 1 book a month. Each pair of books contains 1 classic and 1 book that is considered modern fiction, and each pair is in a specific genre. That is why I was asking you a few weeks ago for genres and examples of books in those genres. That was for this challenge. So here are the pairs in the order that I am reading them, and which books are in each pair. The first genre is forbidden romance, and that's where the complete works of Shakespeare comes in, because for the classic forbidden romance, I am reading Romeo and Juliet. And not only is this challenge going to be interesting just to see just to pit a classic book in one genre with a modern book in the same genre, that's going to be interesting just to see how they differ and how they're the same and stuff. I mean, obviously plot and writing style are different with every book you're going to pick up, even if they are in the same genre. It's still going to be an interesting experiment. But this challenge is also to get me to read books that I normally wouldn't pick up and read, like Romeo and Juliet. I have no interest in reading, but may as well expand my horizons. So, yes, the classic in the forbidden romance is Romeo and Juliet, and the book that is considered modern is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. And actually, I just thought of a third reason why I'm submitting myself to read this torturous literature, such as Twilight. I have a couple more modern books in here that I'm not too excited about reading, but I think it's important as a writer to read what everybody else is reading, just to see what's popular, and if there's a certain writing style that people like above another kind. I know first-person present tense narratives are pretty popular, at least they were last year. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to continue on with my pairs now. So the first pair in forbidden romance is Romeo and Juliet and Twilight. The second pair of books is in the dystopian genre. The classic will be 1984 by George Orwell, and the modern book will be The Hunger Games by Suzanne. The third genre is fantasy, and this was so hard to find a classic fantasy book because Tolkien is kind of the one who started the epic fantasy, but I've already read Tolkien at least twice, and I didn't want to read him again because I'm so familiar with his books already. I wanted to expand my horizons and stuff, as I said. And so I was looking around for classic fantasy, and I guess you could say The Tempest or Midsummer's Night Dream by Shakespeare, or The Fairy Queen by Edmund Spenser. Those, I guess, could be considered classic fantasy, but I chose The Princess and the Goblin by George MacDonald, because on Wikipedia it said he was kind of the one who first started the fantasy movement as we know it today. So I thought that would be kind of interesting to read one of his books. And for the more modern fantasy, I chose Mistborn, the first book in the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I don't know why this has stuck out in my mind, but I feel like this book comes highly recommended by somebody, and I don't know who. If you're that person, comment below. But yeah, I chose Mistborn over, say, Game of Thrones or Wheel of Time, because it's a bit shorter, and yeah, it just looked interesting to me, more so than the others. Someday I'm gonna read Wheel of Time, but today is not that day! The fourth genre is sci-fi, and for the classic I'll be reading From Earth to Moon and Around the Moon by Jules Verne. And for the modern sci-fi, I'll be reading The Complete Robot by Isaac Asimov. And this one, like Isaac Asimov, I guess could be considered a classic sci-fi author. If I had wanted to choose a really modern sci-fi book, I probably should have chosen Cinder by Marissa Meyer. But I really want to read an Isaac Asimov book, and, you know, he's way different than all the other people I'm reading about. So, yeah, The Complete Robot by Isaac Asimov. Next is historical fiction. And for the classic, I'm going to read Death Comes for the Archbishop by Willa Cathar, which I'm really looking forward to reading. It looks like a really good book. And for the modern book, I'm reading The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. The last genre is horror, or as they say in Whose Line Is It Anyway? Horror. For the classic, I will be reading Dracula. And for the modern horror book, I'll be reading Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. And like as Isaac Asimov, I guess he could kind of be considered a classical author, but I chose Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's about like this deranged circus that comes into a small town and disrupts life and scares people. I chose that over, say, like a Stephen King novel, because I think Stephen King is, that, like, I know that would scare me, that would make me not want to go to sleep at night, so I chose something a little bit maybe more toned down in the horror genre. So yeah, those are the 6 genres that I chose that I'll be reading throughout the year, and I'll post those down below just to show you. Like, and if you want to join me in this, by all means do, because I think it's going to be pretty fun. You can blog along with me. I'll be reviewing each of these books and maybe writing a compare-contrast essay between them as well. We'll see about that. Yeah, so that's the second reading challenge I'm doing this year. The third reading challenge is I'm going to try read 1 nonfiction book a month. I have, I think, 8 lined up so far that I'm just interested in reading, like a biography on J.R.R. Tolkien, biography on John Quincy Adams. This month, my book is a book about Claude Debussy. He's a French composer, and he wrote a lot of music for piano, and he's my favorite composer to play on the piano. So I figured I may as well read a book about him, especially since I'm going to be playing his Children's Corner Suite in May for my senior recital, and I thought the book might give me some insight on maybe what he was thinking when he was writing it, or what was going on in his life, and just add another layer to the performance. So yeah, those I will be reviewing as well, hopefully. And yeah, of course I'll be doing lots of reading on the side. Another plan, I guess this is a 4th reading challenge for this year, is I didn't think about it until just now, but I want to reread all the self-published books that I own and review all of them, because I know that reviews help people in the self-published industry, and I just haven't done very well reviewing any of them. But yeah, look out for reviews pretty soon. The first one should be Fly Away Home by Rachel Heffington, and that should be out sometime, hopefully next week or something like that. Yeah, but until then, live long and prosper, and wish me luck!